How much of an echo chamber are we actually listening to when it comes to Apple's M1 chip? When the M1 arrived, the tech world exploded. YouTube was flooded with reviews, amazing speeds, unreal battery life, fanless performance. The whole narrative was a giant win for Apple Silicon. And honestly, a lot of it was true. The M1 was a game changer. But after watching dozens of those initial reviews from the biggest influencers, a pattern emerged. A few crucial, less than glamorous details seemed to consistently get lost in the hype. First, let's talk about compatibility and emulation. Almost every review showed a few key apps, Final Cut Pro, Chrome, maybe Photoshop, running blazing fast. But for creative professionals or developers, the story was much more nuanced. They often missed testing niche or older software, particularly apps that hadn't been natively compiled for Apple Silicon and relied on the Rosetta 2 translation layer. While Rosetta 2 is incredible, it's not perfect. For some workflows, the emulation introduced glitches, stability issues, or a performance hit the average user wouldn't notice, but a pro absolutely would. It painted a picture that was a little too seamless. Second, the limited I/O. The early M1 MacBooks had a maximum of 2 Thunderbolt ports. Reviewers mentioned it, but they often didn't dwell on the real-world impact for power users. That simple limitation meant a lot of external gear, multiple 4K monitors, high-speed docks, eGPUs, were either impossible or required a cumbersome daisy-chain setup. It made the Mac a powerhouse, but also a frustratingly closed ecosystem for anyone needing serious expandability. Finally, the focus on the base models versus the price-gouging upgrades. Almost all initial M1 Air reviews tested the low-end unit, praising the $999 price point. But they often sidestepped just how quickly the cost skyrocketed when you upgraded the unified memory or storage. The entry-level storage and RAM, while optimized, quickly became a bottleneck for pro workflows, and upgrading meant paying a massive Apple premium, making the value proposition a lot less compelling once the machine was configured for genuine heavy use. The base M1 was a steal, but the M1 you actually needed often wasn't. The M1 chip is a phenomenal piece of engineering. But it's important to remember that the most exciting, headline-grabbing narrative often leaves out the inconvenient truths, the compromises on compatibility, ports, and upgradability. The best reviewers give you the full picture, not just the benchmark score. With that said, thanks for watching and until next time.